Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and this is Pillars of Eternity. So, we have just dealt a fatal blow to Maelwald, and I was just wondering there if my guy Durance was actually dead, but not quite, although close to it would seem. Let's see what Maelwald left behind. His Grimoire, a primal flame, which says what? This bright little flame leaps and sparks with magical energy. And some money. The most common Valian coin. Fair enough. Grimoire I can't get any further details on. You found a new Grimoire. Grimoires often contain spells that your wizards may not know. For small cost you can learn these spells from the description panel. You may also fill additional Grimoires with different spells. Place them in your wizard's quick item slots to switch them. But be careful, switching Grimoires will temporarily lock the wizards out of spellcasting for several seconds. Okie dokie. So Maelwald didn't leave us a whole lot of stuff, but he did give us an idea of where we've got to head next, which of course is to the Steward, which was basically a statue sitting near the front hall of this building. The Great Hall of Caed Nua appears to have been the only other sentient being in the fortress. So that then is where we are going to go, but Durance looks like he could do with a bit of healing, and we can't camp inside. Camping will use one set of camping. Oh, we can camp inside. I guess that's because we're out of range of any of the enemies, so good. I was wondering how we were going to get Durance out of there in one piece. In that state, I don't think he was going to be going anywhere. So it looks like we are good to go. Now, I do know there was a bunch of spiders out here. There was a couple of rooms.
Can I wait that older said? I don't want to discuss it.
There was a couple of rooms out here that I didn't visit yet. I'm in two minds of whether to actually go in them, because I suspect there will be some loot, and of course there will be some experience points for our people. But I don't suppose it's worth taking another risk of getting into combat just yet when we've got the Steward to talk to out there. And well, you know what? I don't think they're going to be that much of a threat, is it? One wood beetle. Maybe a few more in here. We seem to handle the spiders pretty well previously, so I think we'll be alright. Except old Granite has got himself poisoned already. Oh no, that's gone. Good. Okay, not too much of a problem. But nothing actually worthwhile in there in terms of loot. It's a big area down here, so I'd be surprised if there's actually nothing that's worthwhile. But again, you never know, do you? Another huge, gigantic spider and his brethren. Come to me, spider.
Let's go.
Easy work. Don't mind battles like that. Ah, this may not be quite as easy, because there is a looter here. Humans are never quite as easy to fight. This looks like it may be a rogue or something of that ilk. This guy's obviously a fighter. Gonna need to think a little bit more about how we go about this one. As long as we can keep building endurance, we're gonna be alright, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's causing a little bit of trouble to Andra.
Yes.
But we will knock him over, and hopefully that will be enough to get Andra out of trouble. Come on, Andra. Back up. And you're down. Silly woman. The looters. Troublesome. Let's see what we can do here. Some spells I think are going to be the order of the day. Did I click that? I think I clicked that, did I? Yes, I did. We're alright still. But now Leoris is in a little bit of a bind. But that's fine. We can bring up our endurance a little bit. The looters have not got long left in him anyway. Come on, get him. The looter shouldn't be a problem, little guy here. And that's that. A little bit more of a problem than I'd have actually liked this far into this area. What were they trying to loot is a question. Probably similar stuff to what I'm trying to loot: a frog helm, some coca, and a tiny small amount of money. Well, there we go. It's around the corner here. So each of these areas is quite well detailed as we've been going along. It's quite nice to see dungeons sort of handcrafted like this after the trend of somewhat procedurally generated dungeons from a lot of recent games. We've seen a return to the games of old this past year with Wasteland 2 and Divinity, as well as this. Divinity is actually one of my favourite games from 2014. And similar in scope to this game, but somewhat easier on the combat for me personally because it has turn-based combat and I'm a little bit better with that. Find it a little bit easier, and although yes, you can pause here, you miss a turn or miss something, don't pay quite close attention, and suddenly everything's over with. On Divinity you get a little bit more slack than that, unless I guess you put it on the hardest difficulty. But that was a great game, again one that come from Kickstarter. In fact, all those 3 games I mentioned actually come from Kickstarter. And perhaps I will do a playthrough of Wasteland 2 at some point, because I haven't gone through too far on that game as yet. And all these games have quite a long heritage as well. Wasteland 2 perhaps the oldest heritage, going right back to the days of the Spectrum.
Which is brave, thou feel
2 giant spiders here, so things may work a little bit different here, but generally speaking the spiders are not too hard to deal with. Although, there we go, lose Leoris straight away.
What?
They shouldn't really be at the front. You know, I'm trying to figure out if you can actually organise your guys so that... I'm going to do that. If you can actually organise your guys so that you can determine the order of how they're presented in combat, with casters and ranged combat guys to the back. This isn't going down too well, is it? Why is she not going to class that? Oh, come on.
Yes.
Not on one spider, not on the last spider.
Doesn't feel right.
We've done quite good getting this far, and mess up a little bit on the last fight. Not focusing quite as well as I should, perhaps. think I looted that, didn't I? And this is effectively what passes for an early dungeon at the moment, at this point in the game, so it would seem a little bit of a shame to just back straight out of this area and head back upstairs again, wouldn't it, when there's a bunch of things that we could potentially see. Lots of bodies down here, or skeletons should I say, and lots of spiders. See, where is Leoris? You can see his... Oh my goodness, a spider queen. And I'm not in the best state to be dealing with that. Now,
Yes.
film? Okay, well, we're going to bring these two to the back a little bit. Deal with this one first. The spider queen, unfortunately, is keeping its distance while we concentrate on those two.
I shall be quiet.
Let's see if we can get the
sea,
drop on it.
which is not.
Couple more spiders. Oh no, here it comes.
Aye?
Here it comes. Right, we want... No, Leoris, really? Aloth, why do I keep calling Leoris? Aloth,
How may I help?
you need to be slightly out of the way because, as always, you're going to be the first person to be attacked. Yeah, there you go, look, the spider's coming straight for you. As usual. That's fine.
Yes.
Now we can
Yes.
get you to cast a spell. Did that actually target the thing I wanted it to target? Come on, we must have your endurance spells this time round. Without them, we're not going to be getting through this fight. I'm pretty sure.
Lava.
Come on. You can do it, guys. You can take this spider. I know you can do it.
What?
Just need to make sure the endurance is all where it should be.
Yeah.
Not convinced Andra's going to make it here. She might, in fact, even actually die. I think we've lost her now.
Aye?
And Granite's not doing too good either.
Lava will be unseeked.
Right, I haven't got any health regenerating potions, unfortunately, so we're just going to have to get this going and see how it plays out. We killed the Spider Queen. But we may have lost Andrew, have we? No, she's
Yeah.
okay. If barely. Did we actually get anything worthwhile from that, though? I was just wondering what we got in terms of experience points from the Spider Queen. Killed Spear Spiderling, yes, we know. Where did we kill the Spider Queen? No, killed Spider Queen. So, I guess that's the XP we got for the Spider Queen there. Quite a good amount, I guess.
Got it.
Now the question was the Spider Queen guarding anything? Doesn't seem that way, does it? Maybe.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea,
Maybe.
which is not very quiet.
And then again, if we'd come in through this way... Ooh, what is this? Giant jade crystal sitting here by the looks of it. Somewhat bizarre, isn't it? That's as far as we can go there. Oh no, we can actually get up that way. I was hoping we would. Where on earth does that lead, is the question. Probably back to outside again. It'd be a little bit of a pity, wouldn't it, after a fight like that? So that was the biggest creature we have actually fought so far in all of these episodes. And we're just waiting for this area to load. Come on. Taking your time a little bit. Yep, we're back outside. So I guess that could have been an area I could have approached from that direction. And what an unpleasant surprise that would have been.
Bit to slick your breeches, scholar lad.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. I said nothing.
Nothing much. You just like to try and antagonise a little bit, eh? So, let's see, where's the manor? Caed Nua Keep. It wasn't a manor, was it? It was a keep. But why can't I find my way in? Didn't I go in through this door? Yes, I did. Well, let's go and talk to the steward then. After that somewhat unlikely diversion we had there. Assuming, of course, it's not again full of black shadows. No, we look like we're all right.
I felt Mayor Ward's passing. You slew him.
He gave me no choice. The fool was barking mad. I did him a favour. Several of him. He gave me no choice.
It saddens me to hear it. But part of me is grateful to no longer have to wait and worry in darkness. This place has always known its master, long as it's had one. It has a will all its own, which has little to do with the castle and much to do with the land it's built on. It looks to you as Mayor Wald's successor now, whether you care for it or not. A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed. But in the right hands, it could be so much more. If you had only seen it in its day. Will you stay?
Ah, so it seems we may now have a stronghold. Mayor Ward said that I must go to the City of Defiance in search of the Queen. I've always wanted my own keep, even if it is a little cursed. What would I do with a ruin? Yeah, let's have the keep. You feel that same emanation of warmth and energy in the air, then it is yours, my lord. I cannot begin to tell you how glad, that is, how good it is to know that the keep is in capable hands once again. I suppose I should mention first that if you mean to travel to Defiance Bay for supplies, there has been a complication of a kind. The Eastern Barbican collapsed decades ago and Mayor Ward never got around to rebuilding it. The road here is a dead end. He got as far as gathering materials before he became preoccupied. I could make arrangements to have it repaired if it is your will. When it ceased to be the previous master's will, I became powerless to do anything about it. For what am I but the master's instrument? It will take time, but far less than finding another route to Defiance Bay. How do I repair the Barbican? What does being the master of Caed Nua entail? What did you mean when you said this keep was cursed? What does being the master entail? Why? There are many responsibilities involved in maintaining a keep. The extent to which you wish to get involved is entirely up to you, of course. Part of the reason I'm here is to ensure that things run smoothly in your absence, provided we have been given instruction. If you instruct me on which repairs you wish to conduct next, I will make the necessary arrangements. These may take some time to finish, but each will provide you with additional resources once they are complete. Given somewhere to place them, we can hire tradesmen to provide you with supplies or ingredients. Repairing the keep will raise your prestige and draw both helpful individuals and unwelcome attention from bandits and opportunists. If we can raise the keep's security in turn, these will become less of a concern. You should know, however, that the position does come with some risk. Your name will grow in fame and you must contend with threats to the keep. And then there are other things. Was there anything else, my lord? How do I repair the Barbican? Maelwald set aside materials for the Barbican, and they are still available to you in the future. If you wish to make further repairs to the keep, you will need coin for supplies and labour. Okay, what do you mean by the curse? Maelwald's curse was his own, a watcher's curse. But his predecessors have not fared better. There is a presence within the keep, or rather far beneath it. At least, such has been the conclusion drawn by all who have come to this place, for what spirits still linger in the endless paths oft speak of a master below. Every effort to settle here has failed. From the time of our Adrian colonists onwards, beasts rise from the endless paths until the new lord or lady is no more. The one who dwells below, this master, does not tolerate rivals, it seems. I have seen, from time to time, intrepid explorers descend to lay claim to what answers they can, but none return. This is the force which has kept Caed Nua a barren ruin, and robbed me of my hopes. The endless paths? That, my friend, is where I must go, where we must go, if you will go with me. Whatever devils lie beneath, think to what knowledge we will find. Perhaps this master speaks Adriant. So what are the endless paths? The endless paths of Odd Nua? That is the name given to the labyrinth beneath the keep. The Earl, we were warned by the Glanfathans that this site was cursed, and that there is a legend attached to it, though at the time we thought nothing of it. The ruins were built, it is said, by a powerful Engwithan named Old Nua, who ruled there until his people turned against him. They destroyed his endless paths and filled many of the upper tunnels in with soil and stone. No one living knows how far down the tunnels stretch, and few who have ventured there have returned. There is much talk of riches and treasure. The promise of Engwithan relics also alone has drawn many fortune seekers to their deaths, I fear. Who is this master below? I could not say with certainty. I believe it must be tied to the man who's said to have been the architect of the endless paths, the Engwithan tyrant, Odd Nua. Some claim his spirit endures, or at least has laid a curse upon this site. I cannot imagine what much remains of his work, for the ruins have been here 1,000 years or more, but what is left is impressive. The Earl certainly thought so. You may have seen, while below the hand of the great statue Old Nua constructed. Perhaps it is a statue of Old Nua himself. And we did indeed see that, so that's that answered. But am I not the master of Caed Nua? Of course you are. The keep would have no other, but the endless paths are a different thing entirely. It is unfortunate, really, that they are so closely intertwined. If the master below is not dealt with, there will always be a threat to the keep from within. I know it is much to take in, but if you would to remain, you would be the lord of this place. Then I can only advise you to seek out this foe before it destroys you. Time to find this queen in the city of Defiance. You must know this queen you're looking for. Defiance Bay has no queen. The Mequins of Adair haven't reigned here since the war. The only queen with any power there is Wodica. I am told they erected an exquisite temple in her honour there, but I was never able to see it. If you mean to go there, we can get started right away on repairing the Barbican. You need only tell me what you wish to do, and I'll make the necessary arrangements. Maelwald kept a ledger as it happens, and I've taken the liberty of updating it. You could take a look if you wish. Let me see what repairs I can make, then we'll get under way at once. Know, my lord, that this is but the first and least of a great many undertakings. The keep supported a great many buildings and servants for many years. If you should wish it, we can repair some of the outlying structures, and these will bring you wealth and recognition, drawing people to your service. Rebuilding the defences will keep your grounds from becoming overrun, as they did under Maelwald's keeping. You need not choose all at once. I am pledged to your aid. So long as you are master here, we should always be linked. You need not step upon these grounds to speak with me. Wherever your travels may take you, you can make your will known to me. If you but reach out. Oh, but first, of course, the Barbican. Right, let's have a look at what we can build here. So what are we going to repair then? These Barbican gates, passage to the wooded plains, the crossroads between Cadnur, Deerfoot and Defiance Bay. Also, all of these we can't actually purchase yet. Now, there is actually a story to the keep, not a story in game, but a story behind its development, as there is another story to the Endless Paths, which are below the keep. Now, the keep, the stronghold, was a stretch goal on the Kickstarter, and just before I'll explain a little bit about that, I'm going to purchase the East Barbican. Yet the, well, let's get out of here as well. Maybe we can walk. The Master Below is a new quest. Interesting. I wonder how long we can do before we go on to have a look at that. Restore the East Barbican. Looks like that's done. I'll have a look at the journal in a minute. So the stronghold itself was a Kickstarter stretch goal, and that was actually achieved, obviously. They did say at the time that they'd try and tie it into the gameplay and the story, and it seems that is what they've done, and they've done quite a good job of it. The Endless Paths were essentially a super dungeon which they wanted to create. They said there would be a number of dungeons scattered around the game world, but there was no super dungeon, which many games, something like Diablo, had back then, Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. They wanted a multi-layered dungeon with many levels. It just kept going down deeper and deeper, getting progressively harder, an area you could keep returning to, and that would present the players with increased challenges. And what happened is that they added a new level to the super dungeon for every specific set amount of money received. And of course, Pillars of Eternity, or Project Eternity as it was called during the campaign, was a massive runaway success. So it meant the super dungeon actually kept growing and growing until it became of astronomical size, and thus the name, the Endless Paths. So that is something we're going to be sure to be taking a look at. For now, we're going to be camping, I think, because my guys are pretty messed up. Andra's nearly finished with. She's barely managing to stay standing then. I can't actually camp here then. I'm going to go out here and camp. And I've asked for the Barbican to be repaired, so hopefully that will give us a bit of a shortcut to Defiance Bay, which is obviously where we need to go next. Now I wonder if we'll be able to actually sleep at our keep at some point. Oh, we're having another dream, another vision. What is it this time? Nothing, but the little standing stones keep making their presence felt, don't they? So then let's have a quick look at the world map. So Deerfoot Village, we got the Burial Isles, Hearthsong, Elms Reach and Old Song over here at Twin Elms, but that is not where we're going just yet. We're going to be going to Defiance Bay here, and there's a whole bunch of places there. So Cadnur is our home, essentially. What we're going to need to... oh look, the map is now completely uncovered. I guess that is because it's our home. This here was the area we entered in by. It seems some sort of mini Colosseum there almost, isn't there? I'm going to go up that way and have a look at that building as well, I think, because it would be worthwhile, I'm quite sure. If it's not totally wrecked. Most of these places will bring themselves up over time. Now, there is something in the super dungeon in the Endless Paths that I don't want to spoil if you haven't actually seen that yet, but the steward inside did mention a hand, which we saw down near the Queen Spider. And what can you see here? 4 fingers and a thumb. And I think that there is a little hatchway we actually come out of. So yes, that was actually indeed a hand and an arm. Something massive, perhaps, buried below the Caed Nua. Let's see what's over here. Can we get in here? I don't know. Hopefully at some point we can actually get up on the top of the walls here. There's some rooms. Depends to what extent we can actually work with our stronghold. Now I'm going to talk with Aloth here. Aloth seems lost in thought. He flinches when you draw near, sucking a sharp breath through his teeth.
What can I do for you?
You've been acting strange.
Crumbling castle, abandoned memories, and an old man who can no longer tell them from reality. I'd say we've seen some rather strange things. And if Meowald is to be believed, it would seem you've an uncertain future ahead.
I don't know what to think. He was out of his mind. I don't place stock in the ramblings of a lunatic. Well, there's no point in speculating now. My situation is more dire than I realised. We've got to find this Leyden key and fast. He was a monster in his past lives. He got what he's deserved. Well, who knows what to
Defiance
think.
Bay holds the answers we need.
Yeah, let's move on then. And we can now go through the Eastern Barbican here, because that is what we just repaired. And that should get us merrily on our way to Defiance Bay, I think. If they ever actually come over this way. That's better. I turned fast mode off again for some reason. There we go. Now the question is, can we go straight to Defiance Bay, or do we have to go by way of somewhere else first? And it would seem we can't get straight to Defiance Bay. We've got to go to the Woodland Plains, and it's going to take us 18 hours to go there. I think first it would be an idea to go to the Gilded Vale and restock, even though it's going to take us a day to get there. When it eventually decides to show us the area. I'm looking forward to the day when we get games where your world changes over time based on your actions. Maybe this is that game. Nice to be coming back here one day and see it a little bit more repaired, a little bit more well off. Or in fact, the opposite direction even, based on your actions, wouldn't it? We're going to have to deal with Lord Rederick before much longer, I would have thought. But Defiance Bay, I think, is the next port of call. Right then, I'm going to stock up. Probably could have saved my camping supply and rested here, since we got here so easy, but not to worry. I'll be back very soon with another episode of Pillars of Eternity. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. This has been Obsidian Ant, signing off.